Okay, so picture this. You're at a holiday market, sipping on some hot cocoa, and then bam, you see it. A pink Christmas tree.
A pink Christmas tree.
Yeah, like not just a couple of pink ornaments. A totally, completely pink tree. Is that the future of Christmas? Or have we all just kind of lost it?
Lost it.
Well, anyway, on today's Deep Dive, we're diving into all the Christmas decor trends for 2024. I'm Alex.
And I'm Maddie.
And we've got tons of YouTube videos from designers. They've got showroom tours, DIY hacks, really all the secrets to make your home the envy of the neighborhood this year.
That's right.
So are you ready to become a holiday decorating pro? Let's do it. Maddie, these videos are like an explosion of tinsel and ornaments. But what are the big themes for 2024?
Well, I think after watching all these videos, 3 themes really pop out. Glam, nature, and nostalgia.
Glam, nature, and nostalgia.
Sound like a Hallmark movie title. I like it. What's driving these trends? Like, do they have anything to do with what's going on in the world right now? It's really interesting how these trends seem to reflect what's happening around us. So take glam, for example. It's all about jewel tones, metallics, anything sparkly. It kind of feels like a reaction to all the craziness of the past couple of years.
Yeah.
People want some joy and escape. And what better way to do that than with a Christmas tree that's like dripping in diamonds.
Right.
We saw emerald greens, sapphire blues, ruby reds, even whole trees covered in gold or silver, like straight out of a palace, you know?
Okay, I am loving the more is more vibe.
Right.
And speaking of sparkle, have you noticed how disco balls are everywhere? It's like Studio 54 meets Santa's workshop.
Totally. Oh, and don't forget about tinsel. Tinsel is back in a big way.
It really is.
It's all about celebrating, going all out.
All right, so let's talk about the pink elephant in the room, or maybe the pink flamingo in the Christmas village, the pink mist trend.
The pink mist trend?
Okay, I have to admit, when I first saw those pink trees, I was, well, let's just say I needed a minute.
Haha. It's definitely bold. But remember, pink is a whole spectrum. We saw soft blushes, pastels, and even vibrant fuchsias. And then there's that old pink Christmas tree that went viral. It's surprisingly sophisticated.
You know what? You're right. Maybe a little bit of dusty rose wouldn't be so bad. Okay, moving on to nature vibes. It seems like this trend is here to stay. Why do you think that is?
The woodland rustic look is still super popular, and I think it's because people want that comfort, that connection to nature. Bringing the outdoors in feels really grounding and peaceful, especially during the holidays, you know?
Yeah.
So think lots of natural materials like pine cones, wood, and realistic-looking greenery. Anything that reminds you of a cozy cabin in the woods covered in snow.
Totally. And then there's a trend that's, well, a little more surprising. Mushrooms. We're not just talking about a few cute little toadstools tucked into a garland. It's like full-on mushroom-themed Christmas trees.
Mushroom-themed Christmas trees.
What's up with that?
I know, right? It's definitely a conversation starter. You either love it or find it kind of quirky, but you can't deny how popular it is. And it does add a touch of whimsy, don't you think?
Yeah.
We saw mushrooms made of wood, felt, ceramic, even sparkly ones.
Okay, so we've got glam with jewel tones and disco balls. We've got nature with its cozy vibes and mushroom forests. And, of course, we can't forget pinkmas. What about nostalgia? What's that look like in the world of Christmas decor?
Think about those classic holiday movies, you know, from the golden age of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So we're seeing a comeback of those traditional elements, old-fashioned Santas, vintage ornaments, and that classic red and green color palette.
I love those.
It's all about those warm, fuzzy feelings of Christmas's past, but maybe with a modern twist.
I love that. It's like bringing a little vintage charm to your holiday decor.
Yeah.
But before we get too lost in all the tinsel and lights, let's talk about some practical advice. What are the key takeaways from these YouTube experts? Like, what can we actually tell our listeners to help them use these trends?
One thing that stood out was the focus on DIY decorations, especially with everyone being more interested in sustainability these days.
Yeah.
One of the videos showed how to make amazing 3D paper snowflakes using origami. They looked super intricate, but the technique was actually pretty simple.
Wow, that's so cool. I love the idea of adding a personal touch. And it's great for the environment, too.
Yeah.
What other tips did you pick up from these decorating gurus?
Remember those poinsettias we talked about?
Yeah.
Well, one designer had a really cool tip about fluffing them to make them look fuller and more vibrant.
Fluffing them.
Yeah. It's amazing how a simple adjustment can make such a difference.
That's awesome. Okay, so for those of us who are feeling a little overwhelmed by all these trends, what's the main takeaway? What's the one piece of advice you would give our listeners to help them create a Christmas look that's really, truly them?
Honestly, I think the most important thing is to not be afraid to mix and match. The best thing about decorating for Christmas is there are no rules. You can blend different trends, pick what you love, and add your own personal touch to create a style that's totally unique.
I completely agree. It's all about creating a space that feels like you and makes you happy. But there is one more piece of advice I'd add, and it's something all the YouTubers kept saying. Start shopping early.
Absolutely, especially if you want a specific item or you're really into a particular trend. Those popular things sell out super fast, so don't wait until the last minute to start decorating.
Great advice. So there you have it. Christmas 2024 is looking like a wild mix of glamour, nature, and nostalgia. We've got jewel tones, disco balls, woodland creatures, mushroom explosions, and of course that ever-present pinkness, all ready to take over your holiday decorations.
Haha, that's a great way to put it. Don't forget to personalize your decor, try different trends, and most importantly, have fun creating a Christmas wonderland that's all yours. Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into Christmas trends.
So in part one, we talked about those big trends, like glam, nature, and nostalgia.
Right.
Now let's get into the details, like what specific decorations are people loving this year?
Well, one thing that really surprised me was all the different kinds of Christmas trees.
Yeah, it's not just your basic green fir anymore.
Definitely not. You can find trees in pretty much every color you can imagine.
And even some colors you can't imagine.
Haha, exactly. Metallic trees are super popular this year, which makes sense with that whole glam thing we talked about.
Right.
We saw gold, silver, champagne, even bronze. They look so chic.
Super chic. And if you want to go all out, there are flocked trees. It's like bringing the snow right into your living room.
Oh yeah, flocking is huge.
Yeah.
And it's not just white anymore. We saw pink flocked trees, blue, even black.
Wow, black. That's interesting.
It is. It's all about creating a look that's totally you.
Yeah, making it your own. Speaking of that, one of the YouTube videos talked about layering different textures on your tree.
Layering textures, yeah. It adds so much visual interest.
Right. It's not just about the ornaments themselves. It's about how they all work together.
Exactly. You can mix and match ornaments of different sizes, shapes, finishes. It gives your tree so much depth.
Like you could combine those shiny glass ornaments with more rustic wooden ones.
Right. Or add some soft felt ornaments for a cozy feel.
Oh, and don't forget ribbons. Ribbons can completely transform a tree.
Ribbons are a game changer. They add instant elegance.
And they can really bring your whole theme together. Plus, there are so many colors and patterns to choose from.
It's easy to find the perfect ribbon to match your ornaments.
Totally. All right, so we've talked about trees. What about other parts of the house, like garlands and wreaths?
Garlands and wreaths are essential for that holiday feeling. And this year, we're seeing a lot of variety there, too.
Like what?
Well, one trend I really love is using natural elements in garlands and wreaths. Things like pine cones, berries, twigs, even dried fruits.
Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty.
It adds a really nice rustic touch. And a lot of those things you can just find outside.
So it's good for the environment and your wallet.
Exactly. Another trend we saw was using oversized ornaments and statement pieces in garlands and wreaths, like making a bold statement.
Like a giant bow.
Yeah, a huge bow or a cluster of oversized ornaments. You could even use something unique that ties into your theme.
Ooh, like for that ski resort theme we talked about. You could add a vintage sled or some skis.
Yes, it's those unexpected touches that make your decor so interesting.
Definitely. Okay, let's move on to table decor. That's where you can really show off your personality.
Tabletop is so fun. Centerpieces are a must-have. And there are endless possibilities.
Candles are always a good choice, right?
Candles are classic. They add that warm, inviting glow, and you can really dress them up for the holidays.
Like adding some pine branches or berries around them.
Yes, or even tucking in some ornaments.
And what about those natural elements we were talking about?
Oh yeah, you can totally use those on the table too. Wood slices, pine cones, branches, anything that brings the outdoors in.
You could even fill a bowl with ornaments or arrange some candles on a bed of greenery.
That would be beautiful. And don't forget place cards. They add such a personal touch.
Yeah, you could use personalized ornaments or sprigs of greenery or even little gifts.
That's a cute idea. Make your guests feel extra special.
Okay, now for one of my favorite trends, sustainable decorating.
Sustainable decorating, yes. It's so great to see people making eco-friendly choices for the holidays.
And it doesn't have to be hard.
Not at all. One easy thing is to use reusable gift wrap. like fabric gift bags or scarves.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Another idea is to make your own decorations with natural materials.
Like pine cones or paper?
Exactly. Or even old book pages. You can find tutorials online for all sorts of
Oh,
things.
yeah, and instead of buying new garlands and wreaths, you could make them yourself.
Foraging for natural materials is a fun activity, too.
Yeah. Or you could upcycle things from around your house, like making a garland out of old sweaters.
That's so creative. The key with sustainable decorating is to think outside the box.
And let your imagination run wild.
Exactly. So before we move on to part 3, let's quickly recap those specific decor items that are trending. We've got metallic trees, flock trees, oversized ornaments, natural elements, and of course, candles.
Lots of candles. Don't forget about layering those textures, adding your own personal touches, and keeping it sustainable.
It's all about making your holiday decor feel authentically you.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Christmas trends for 2024. We've covered so much: the big themes, specific decorations, even how to make your decor eco-friendly.
Exactly. But now let's talk about you, our listeners. How can you use all this inspiration to create a holiday home that's truly you?
Right, because it's easy to get caught up in all the trends. But ultimately, your Christmas decor should be something that makes you happy.
That's the goal. So think about what makes you feel warm and fuzzy. What colors, textures, or themes do you love? Are you more traditional, with the classic red and green vintage ornaments, maybe some tinsel?
Or maybe you're more modern, with metallics, minimalist stuff, a simple color scheme.
Or maybe you're all about that cozy, rustic, woodland vibe. Natural elements, comfy textures, and of course those mushroom ornaments we talked about.
The key is to figure out what really speaks to you, and then have fun adding those things to your decor. Don't be afraid to mix trends or put your own spin on things.
I love that. Make it your own.
So let's get practical. Where do you even start? It can feel overwhelming.
One thing I always suggest is to start with a focal point.
The focal point.
Yeah, it could be your Christmas tree, your fireplace mantle, or even your dining table.
Okay.
Once you have that central element, you can build your decor around it.
Makes sense. It gives you a place to start and helps you avoid that too much stuff look.
Exactly. And once you have your focal point, you can start adding things like garlands, wreaths, tabletop decor, always thinking about keeping things cohesive.
Right, that flow is important.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier how important it is to create a cohesive look that connects all the different areas. How do we do that?
Repetition is key. Using the same colors or a recurring theme throughout your home creates a sense of harmony.
Oh, I see.
So for example, if you're using gold and emerald green in your living room, try bringing those same colors into your dining room or entryway.
So it all feels connected, like you're telling a story.
Exactly. And don't forget about those small details.
Well, details.
They can make a huge difference. A beautifully wrapped present, a sprig of greenery in a vase, a candle casting a warm glow. Those little things really enhance the overall experience.
Yeah, engage all the senses. Sight, smell, touch, even sound. Use scented candles. Add soft textures like velvet. Put on a festive playlist.
Music is so important. It sets the mood instantly.
All right, before we wrap up this deep dive, let's talk about sustainable decorating again. We've touched on it throughout the episode, and it's something I'm really passionate about.
Me too. It's not just a trend. It's about making choices that align with your values.
And it doesn't have to be hard.
Not at all. Using reusable gift wrap, LED lights, natural materials, those are all easy swaps.
And don't forget those DIY decorations. Fun, creative, and good for the planet.
The best of all worlds. So there you have it. We've explored the hottest Christmas trends, from glam metallics to rustic woodland charm. We shared tons of tips to help you create a holiday home that's uniquely you.
The most important thing is to have fun and make it personal. Embrace the trends you love and create a space that makes you happy.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Big thanks to you for sharing your amazing expertise with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
We hope everyone feels inspired to deck the halls in style this Christmas. And remember, we want to see your creations. Share those holiday decor photos with us on social media using #DeepDiveDecor. Don't forget to subscribe to Mindeev's Talks Deep Dive for more deep dives into all sorts of interesting topics. Happy decorating, everyone.